Hello, and welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. My guest today, I'm really excited about. His name is Dr. Kevin Reese, and he's helped thousands of people reclaim their health since 2010. He gets the most results that I've seen from anybody of helping people truly heal themselves. And he's got a method called head to toe healing, where he looks at the whole body and the whole person and helps them heal through his protocols and things that he does. So I'm so excited to have him here today. Dr. Reese, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast.
Hello, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. I'm so excited you're here. Your work is incredible. I've been watching so much of your stuff. You're all over Facebook, and it's very inspiring. And I know you just published your latest book. So I want to congratulate you on that. And I'm sure we'll be talking about the medical monopoly book, the red book, as you call it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more about that. And I heard you saying that the red book is like a wake-up call. It's like putting like ice water on your face. You have such a way of describing things that really kind of awakens you. And I think that's really cool. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I wanted to write a book that my people could use almost like a brochure. Because once you awaken to the fact that the medical system is not there to help you as it relates to chronic issues, they're okay for emergency and urgent stuff. But for when it comes to chronic issues, it's one of the worst things that you can do is go to the medical monopoly, as I call them. And so my people, my followers, my supporters, my fans, they're already awake. But their friends, their family, their loved ones are not. And so what happens is many times we're so passionate about it, we try and wake our friends and family and loved ones up, and you just end up looking like a crazy person. So I wanted to write a book that people could use to pass around. Like, hey, just read this. Or just put it on their coffee table, put it on their floor. I mean, it's a red book. I mean, it stands out. So I'll be the bad guy. They don't have to be the bad guy. Just give people the book, gift it to them. It's small, 200 pages. It'll take you 3 hours. And so I just condensed the information all into a short, sharp, intense book.
That's great. What does it mean to be awake to you?
As it relates to this subject, it's just to not be in a sleeping slumber where you're being taken advantage of. And there's so many people out there that have been taken advantage of, and they're walking around without a gallbladder, without a thyroid, without a colon. They're walking around on 15 medications. They're walking around in what I call medical prison. And they're asleep.
So would you say they've been lied to? Or I've heard you say like we've been lied to, we've been cheated. Can you explain more of that, of why we are sleeping?
Yeah, brainwashed, really. I mean, there's a computer inside of our skull. And it's very powerful. And it's also easily programmable, right? It's like, when's the last time you forgot to brush your teeth? Your mom or dad taught you it when you were young and drilled it into your head that you got to brush your teeth before you go to bed. And now you brush your teeth before you go to bed for the rest of your life. That's a program. That's a default pattern. So you can program good stuff, you can program bad stuff. And so they programmed us to listen to the white coat, the medical monopoly, through television, magazines, such like that. If
What
there's something wrong with you, a friend or family member is going to be like, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. You got to go to the doctor. It's just programmed into you.
But I thought everybody's good. Everybody just wants the best for us. All these people think like, the government, the people, the medical, they want the best for us. We listen to everything they say. Is that like, not being able to fully think for yourself?
Right. That's it. You're not able to think for yourself. It's similar to a car. When there's something wrong with your car, you bring it to the mechanic. You don't know. Most people don't know anything about a car. Nobody's in the driveway changing their own oil. So that means the mechanic can take advantage. And so it's similar in that way, but it's also important to really understand that it's not necessarily the doctors and nurses' fault. They're trained that way. They're programmed too. They went to school for a long time. So essentially, it's a bigger entity at the top, programming smaller entities. And they've created a monopoly. There's no competition. I'm no competition. I have 500,000 followers. They have $1 trillion monopoly. Like, I am of no threat, realistically.
Why are you so passionate to awaken people to this? There must be something that had to do with your past or your story that really got you passionate to awaken us to do better in our lives.
Well, I think it started off being passionate, but now it's just it feels more of a divine path type of thing. I'm just following the direction that I've been pointed in. But the testimonies are, when somebody hops on camera and says, "Hey, Dr. Reese, I wanted to let you know that I had hip pain for 20 years and it's gone." Or, I had migraines for the last 30 years and they're gone. Or, my fibromyalgia is gone. Like, those are the type of things that keep you going.
Yeah, and would you say suffering is optional? Like we don't have to suffer, that most things we can heal ourselves through?
Yeah, anything that's chronic, you can heal yourself.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
I love how you say, like, if you're not born with it, it's not yours.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
You've been doing some research. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're not born with it, it's not yours. If something was truly genetic, which is the excuse that they use all the time, then you would have it probably inside of 5 years. All those trips to the pediatrician with your mom, they would be like, "Oh yeah, your 3-year-old has fibromyalgia, gonna have it for the rest of his life." That would make sense versus waking up at 40 years old and then the doctor saying, "You have fibromyalgia, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. Oh, you got it from your great grandfather." It makes no sense, And that's how brainwashed people are, is they believe it. They believe it. I had somebody DM me just yesterday. It's fresh on my mind. For narcolepsy, They're like, "Can narcolepsy be cured?" Like, "Oh, we don't use that word." Okay. Can it be reversed? Why couldn't it? And she goes, "Because it's genetic." Like, why would it be genetic? What? Why? How? And they can't explain it.
Can you explain what that is?
Genetic?
No, the what you were talking about, the narcolepsy.
Oh, when people like fall asleep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a mineral deficiency or a blood sugar issue, It's like, Genetic. Mm-mm.
And it's amazing to me how we put so much band-aids on things, with the medications, with the pharmaceutical, and just trying to, work with the symptoms instead of really digging into what the problem is and how to heal. Like the work that you do is more healing the problem. I saw the video where you said about a shark, right? When you see the fin, swimming above the water, you don't get rid of the shark just because you put the fin under the water, right? And so,
That's right.
and it's like, just trying to eliminate something that's still there.
Yeah, the shark is still circling the boat, and that's what they do. Or you can think of it like a leak in the roof, and then you put a bucket underneath the leak, so you're just catching water and dumping it out every few days, but you still got the bucket. But the medical monopoly, they want to keep giving you the bucket. They want you to keep buying that bucket. It's a subscription plan.
Because it makes them billion and billions of dollars.
Trillions.
Yes.
Trillions. It's that big.
Trillions. Yes.
I think the only other monopoly that's bigger is banking.
Yeah. I was amazed by how you work with the foundation parts of the person, that you work with the nutrition, with the posture, and what's the third one thing that you work on?
Yeah, it's nutrition, posture, and mindfulness.
And mindfulness. And I love the mindfulness part as well. I think that our mind can really get us sick or get us healthy. So I was
Right.
very impressed with the foundational. Can we talk about those three foundations that are so important for our health and well-being?
Yes, I call them the macro methods. I highlight them in my book, Peace Over Pain. And the general idea is that if you're going to get after your body from head to toe, then let's break it down into a simple way. So your body is like a vehicle. That's your musculoskeletal system. That's your bones and your muscles. You actually walk around as a structure. But that vehicle needs fuel. So there's your nutrition. And that's going to be your biochemical side. And then there's an onboard computer. All vehicles have an onboard computer, right? My car was beeping at me the other day. Need maintenance, need maintenance, need maintenance. It's an onboard computer. And so that's the computer that's in your skull, that's your brain. And so when you break the body down into those three sections, you're really looking at the entire body from head to toe.
I love that.
You,
So let's start with alignment and how important is alignment for your health and well-being.
yeah, if you're out of alignment, then you are susceptible to compressed nerves, bulging vertebrae discs, lymphatic stagnation, poor circulation overall,
Dementia.
brain conditions. Yep, brain conditions for sure. Foot conditions such as bunions, high arches, hammer toes, knock knees, tibial torsions. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, think of it like a shelving unit. If you look at a shelf, it's all aligned perfectly because that's how the engineer drew it up. Well, if the shelving unit was just a little off, that shelving unit isn't going to be very effective. And so human beings are meant to move, but we don't move anymore much. And, the alignment is super important, and it's something we got to fix. It's the hidden key to health, I feel.
Yeah, it's the foundation, right? It's the ground, just the ground of everything. Everything builds on that. So if the foundation is not strong, everything's going to fall apart.
Yeah, the camera that's pointing at me right now is on a tripod.
Mm-hmm.
If that tripod was out of alignment, then the camera shot would be off.
Absolutely. And I read also that you work with the muscles instead of the bones. You know, you were saying how chiropractors work with bones, but you work more with muscles. Can you explain that as far as our structure goes, how the
Mhm.
muscles help our body stay in alignment?
Yeah, there's about 600 muscles, give or take, and they are strong. And they move the bones. And they bully the bones. So muscle dysfunction is a root cause of dis-ease, for sure. And so we do postural alignment therapy. Inside of my membership, we have classes, and we teach people how to get their body back in alignment by getting their muscles back to being functional.
Does it have to do with working out to be able to get our muscles back intact?
Yeah, we have specific exercises.
Mhm.
So it's similar to physical therapy, but a little more advanced, a little more protocol based. And so that's what we call it PAT instead of PT, postural alignment therapy.
And you do that all virtually with your clients?
Yep, members. We don't have clients
Oh,
anymore.
members, yes.
Unfortunately, we had to shut that down because of all the attacks. But we have a membership now. And yes, our members are from all over the world. America, the UK, South Africa, South America, huge base in Australia and New Zealand. It's remarkable.
That's incredible. So something as simple as just your body structure over time, over the years can change, right? The forward motion of your head, your neck, you know, things go out of
Mhm.
alignment, and that can really cause stress and disease in your body.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's correct.
So we got to work on that posture and do, you know, things to keep that structure strong.
Absolutely. Me included. Because, you know, I've been sitting at a computer for 25 years, clanging and banging, you know, and, you know, it takes a toll.
Absolutely. And so many of us are so stagnant and sitting in one place. And today, even with the young generation, I see my own kids, right? They're always forward looking at the phone, looking down all the time. And, you know, their head is, you know, my son has a big head. And I'm like, oh my God, like your neck, like you got to be careful. And I tell him all the time. And he's like, Mom, leave me alone. You're judging me, you know, whatever he says. But, you know, I try to help as much as I can because I used to be a Pilates teacher. So I'm and a yoga
Mm,
teacher also. So I'm very, you know, present
familiar with it.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
to the alignment of the body and how important it is. And I'll tell you the truth with myself. I take very good care of myself. I keep myself in really good health, but I can feel the structure in my body when it's off. I can feel that my shoulders want to go forward. I can feel when things are out of alignment, you know, and you could really, when you're more present to your body, you can literally feel those things in your body. And, you know, even, I mean, aging, right? As you age, right? I mean, things are going to change. I mean, in your body. I mean, let me ask you this question. Can we stay as we age? Can we stay as healthy structurally as we were when we were younger? Do things not have to change? Because you know how sometimes people get a little shorter, they shrink. Can all those things be avoided?
They can be avoided for sure. It just takes a lot of work. I often say that postural alignment therapy is to your muscles what brushing and flossing is to your mouth. So, as consistent as you are with brushing and flossing to take care of your mouth, is as consistent as you should be with postural alignment therapy and keeping yourself in alignment. And it's just so super important so that you don't shrink, so to speak. And you don't literally shrink. What happens is you either compress your spine or your neck is just falling out onto your chest. And if it came back up and your ear was back over your shoulder, you'd gain an inch. So, you know, I evaluate bodies almost every day when I do my head to toe analyses. And, you know, I point it out all the time. I look at a lot of bodies and most people have their neck is falling out onto their chest.
Scary thoughts. Actually, I've always, I think it's just a really important thing, the body. And, you know, so is it somebody who works with you, do we constantly have to work on the posture things through our life to stay as healthy as possible? Like we constantly have to do that, as you call it, whatever, the physical therapy or the exercises you give us to be able to stay strong as we age.
Yeah, you got to do it every day.
Mhm.
Every day, even if it's just 10 minutes a day.
And by the way, that's what I wanted to tell you, and it kind of I lost track of it. My husband's a dentist. He's actually a holistic dentist. And when you say about flossing and brushing, I was like, I smile
Mhm.
because I do floss and brush my teeth. But it is really, really important. And so many people don't even floss their teeth, right? They'll maybe brush their teeth, but they don't floss their teeth. I don't know if even know if my own kids floss their teeth, and we try to teach them that, but it just, we self-sabotage. We get in our own way.
That's right. Yes, we do. And that is from the computer in the skull.
Yeah, it's all connected. So let's go to the second one that we talked about, the clinical nutrition part of it. Can we
Mm.
talk about that and how can we stay healthier with our nutrition? I know there are I mean, there's so much we can cover with that, but I know one of the things you talk about is the four foods that we should never eat.
Yeah, the poor four foods. We have people healing all over the world by just getting off these four food groups. And that's gluten, that's oils, that's the controversial one, oils,
Mhm.
fried and fake. Gluten, oil, fried, and fake.
So let me ask you this. So I know that gluten is not good for you, but the question is, people say sourdough bread is good for you, or they say sprouted wheat bread is good for you. Is that a misconception?
Well, no, well, they're just trying to rationalize it because they love bread. A non-bread lover isn't going to make the argument,
Okay, so
right?
sourdough is not good for you, and sprouted wheat is not good for you, but gluten-free bread is okay for you?
I wouldn't even touch that really
Hmm.
because there's oils in it more than likely. In my cookbook, we teach you how to make it pour for free. So that's where the cookbook comes in.
So I was really surprised and shocked to hear that all oils are bad. How about coconut oil?
Oils are okay for your skin, but not swallowing it because the oil oxidizes with the air. So it's not the actual oils that are bad. It's the chemistry of the air in the oils because it's not a whole food. It's not a whole food. It's been pressed. It's juice. It's fat juice.
So same thing for coconut oil as well?
Same thing.
Wow. I could not believe that. You said avocado oil, coconut oil, I guess, olive
Sure, even
oil. They're all
even
bad.
like yeah, you ever get a jar of peanut butter and you see the oil floating at the top? Oil is oil is oil. It's gonna oxidize. There's no way around it.
So we got to that up, give up all oils. But when you go out to eat, that's kind of hard unless you get something steamed because you,
I I go out to restaurants because I have a dating life,
mhm.
and, and women don't want to hear it. So I am accustomed to telling the waiter, cook my steak in butter, please, no oils. And
And
if you want to be real strict, tell them you're allergic.
oh yeah, I used that one before, because you want to make sure that it's done right. Now let's talk about meat for a second. Is meat good for you? Because I know we just said steak. Um, how about, is it important to be grass-fed meat if you do eat meat?
So the thing with meat is this: you can't overcook it. As soon as you start frying it, now you're entering into a bad place. And that's where all the hoopla came in decades ago when they were saying red meat will kill you. Well, yeah, if you have meat and there's, strips of char on it, it's not a good idea.
But
So it's all about how you cook it.
So it doesn't matter if it's grass-fed or not, because as far as I know,
Grass-fed is better, but it's not the end of the world. It's all about how you cook it.
okay, so you should cook it medium, is that it?
Rare.
Oh, rare, really?
Rare or medium rare. Yeah.
And why is that?
Because it's the same thing as the oils. It will oxidize. It'll create carcinogens.
Okay, that's amazing information. Even though I'm vegan, I don't eat any meat, but it's great information to know. Now, let's talk about some essential minerals that we don't get from the food these days. What are some essential minerals that we should all be taking to keep ourselves healthy?
Well, there's 60 of them. There's 90 essential nutrients. 60 are minerals. So minerals make up the bulk of our nutrition.
So, how does somebody get their minerals? Like someone that's watching this and says, "Hey, Dr. Reese, how do I get my minerals? Is there something you recommend?" I know your program's amazing, but I'm just saying, I'm sure there's stuff that they could do to prevent being sick by taking those minerals on a regular basis.
We have specific supplements for our members where they get all 90 essential nutrients. If somebody's not a member, they can help themselves out by doing sea moss or moringa, stuff like that.
Does sea moss and moringa have all the nutrients in it?
It claims to.
Okay, that's
It
great.
just depends. It just depends on the soil it was grown in.
So you have to do your
That's
research and make sure that you're getting stuff better
yeah.
made.
That's the problem with plants. That's the problem with plants is we don't know how much nutrition is in it. That's the problem.
Because the soil
Because the
is
soil.
destroyed.
Correct. When we were, not that long ago, 150 years ago, when there was no electricity, the rivers weren't dammed. So the rivers would flow up onto the land and it would bring minerals with it. And then the farmers would come out after the rivers receded and they would rake it in. We don't have that anymore. Our rivers are dammed. And we're not using wood ash anymore either. We used to burn a lot of wood. That was our quote unquote electricity. We used to burn wood every day as human beings. And that was a technological advancement. Look at us now. You just flip a switch. Look what we're doing right now over the internet. It's crazy, right? Imagine a caveman being like, wow, they're talking through this computer thingy. Like, it's very advanced, but with advanced technology comes cons. There's pros and there's cons. One of the cons is that it has ruined our soil.
So buying organic doesn't mean anything, would you say?
Well, it just means it's not sprayed,
Mhm.
which is good. I mean, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker. Like, we have plenty of people that heal from head to toe who aren't eating organic,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go over the third one, which is mindfulness.
Yeah, that's the computer in your skull, and that's the ability to manage emotions, manage thoughts, manage the subconscious mind, and handle that, because your mind can absolutely ruin your body and your reality all around you.
Yes, and let's talk about emotions. Emotions, what do emotions do to us when we're unable to control our emotions? How does it affect our well-being?
Yeah, it hijacks you, especially anger and fear, the two big ones. And yeah, it just does a number on your nervous system.
Yeah, and I saw that you call, you talk about working with the inner child, right?
Yeah.
With mindfulness. How does that work?
Well, the inner child is just a nickname for the subconscious mind. And so by viewing it as a child, now you can wrap your arms around it and you can nurture it. Whereas if you just call it the subconscious mind, it just sounds very sciencey and hard to wrap your hands around it. But if you look at it as you have a little you that's scared or angry or guilty or jealous, now you can nourish it. You can nurture it, nourish it, comfort it, because you can't control it. It's programming. You can't control programming. You can't. So if you can't control it, you might as well console it.
Oh, I like that.
And the more you console it, the more you'll reprogram it by deprogramming it. You deprogram and then you reprogram.
Yeah, and it's so complicated, the subconscious mind, because we hold so many things in our memories, in our things that, literally hurt us in our life right in the present moment. We don't even realize that the subconscious mind runs everything in your life.
Yeah, a great example of that is PTSD. That's what PTSD is. It's the inner child reliving something. That's what it is.
Yeah, that is complicated stuff when we get into that, because once you see something that's so traumatic, it's very hard to unsee it. And through that mindfulness work, do you think people can overcome PTSD?
Absolutely. You can overcome anything. Absolutely. It just takes work. And that's the part people don't want to do. They don't want to do work.
Because it's comfortable, right? To stay the same. It's comfortable to be a victim of whatever's happening to you. You see it every day. People drinking Diet Coke and people eating things that really are not serving their lives, but, they do it anyways. It's not that they don't know. There's so much information out there. A lot of people just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they have a grandfather that lived till 100 who ate poorly. And so they justify it, not realizing that they're in a whole new era.
Yeah, and the long-term effects of those things we do today. You were saying they don't, you don't see the effects now, but 25 years from now, you will see the effects.
Yes. Yes. What you eat at 5 affects you at 25. And what you eat at 25 affects you at 55.
Absolutely. So you're an author of 4 books: Peace Over
Mm.
Pain,
Yep.
Reverse the Cause, Dinner with Dr. Reese, which I know is you have all your recipes and stuff in there, and your newest one, The Medical Monopoly,
Yeah. The red book.
the Red Book.
The
Yeah,
red book.
the Red Book
Yeah.
that you're most excited about. Does that kind of put all your work together in the Red Book?
I don't know if it put, yeah, maybe. But I just think that the red book is the one that I'll probably be remembered for. The one that people will read 200 years from now. Assuming that this movement keeps going. Uh, a great example of that is in the financial world. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's been around for 30 years now. People are still reading it. Robert Kiyosaki.
Great book.
Yeah. And so I feel like the red book is essentially that. I don't know any of Robert Kiyosaki's other books. I only know that one. So, I mean, you'd have to be a super fan to know his other books, So I just feel like this book is going to be that. And it's going to spread word of mouth for the next 20, 30 years and launch it into another type of atmosphere. The other books are very valuable, but I just don't think that they'll be as popular as this. So, yeah.
It's cool to know that, you created something that's going to truly go on from generation to generation and create an impact. So that is a huge accomplishment and
Yep.
something to truly be proud of.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I definitely am excited to get the book.
I set it up so that this can keep going without me. I have a living trust, and I have a very hefty life insurance policy, and it's set up, there's a succession plan. And so, and I put it out there. In fact, there's a whole chapter in the Red Book about it, because I want the enemies to know that, if you do something, it's just going to get stronger.
Like, I'll still be here watching over you.
Yeah, it's just like the scene in that classic Star Wars movie when Obi-Wan looks at Darth Vader and he says, "If you strike me down, I will become even more powerful." A little science fiction there for you, but I mean, death is the best promotion.
Yes, so many people have gotten really, their best work has come out, after, but it's about the legacy, and you're doing your work right now, which is going to it's making a difference for your, clients, whoever you work with right now, and for all of us to be able to learn through you, through your videos, through the testimonials. It makes a huge difference. And I heard you speak about mammograms and colonoscopies.
Mm-hmm.
I know we are a fear-based society, and we want to go get our colonoscopy. We want to go get our mammogram, and we've been conditioned to do so.
Yeah. And there's a whole chapter in the Red Book about that. And essentially what I'm teaching people is that these detection schemes are meant to make more money. And so what the medical monopoly does is they overtest, and that leads to overdiagnosing, and that leads to overtreatment. So there's people out there getting treatment that don't need treatment. And it all stems from testing. And so there's your mammograms and your colonoscopies. Colonoscopies are interesting because they didn't start looking at that until the 1990s. And if you look at the statistics, sea monster, I call it sea monster, of the colon increased. So you have to ask yourself, well, why? Why did sea monster of the colon increase after colonoscopies? Because they're looking for it. Seek and ye shall find. If you keep looking, you're gonna catch the monster. Instead of letting your body handle it naturally. Your body knows what it's doing. It goes through ups and downs. It goes through ebbs and flows. It is a flux. It's just like getting a pimple, right? And I know people don't want to hear the sea monster compared to a pimple, but it's a good example. You remember you got a pimple in high school, you thought the world was over. And your mom or dad was like, "It's a pimple, it'll be gone in a week. You'll be okay." And so there's people walking around with sea monster cells right now. And guess what? It's okay. Your body will handle it. Very controversial. This is why I get threats, and this is why I get attacked. But if it morphs into something bigger, something that grows, and you gain symptoms, that's when you get checked out. But the medical monopoly has brainwashed us into trying to find it before you have symptoms. It makes no sense.
But what if we have family history? Like, for example, my dad died from colon cancer. Doesn't matter.
Now we're going back to genetics.
Yes.
Which isn't real.
So genetics is not real.
No. What's real about genetics as it pertains to this subject? No. What is real about genetics is how tall you are. Okay? What color are your eyes?
How much hair I have. No,
yes, exactly. I know. When I look at my mom, I say, yes, thanks for the hair, Mom. Because her hair is big and wavy and curly like mine. You know, my dad was 6'1". My mom was 4'11". Guess what? I'm 5'9". I'm right in between. That is genetics. Not my grandfather's heart attack or, my dad's diabetes. That's not genetic.
But
It's not possible.
they want you to believe. And my doctor's been telling me for years, Noah, you got to go get a colonoscopy because your dad died from colon cancer. And I haven't gone, okay? But because I believe I'm a healthy person, I eat healthy, I take good care of myself, I'm not going to get it. That's my thought. But, she always presses me like, hey, you need to go do that. This is important,
But my thing is, you could get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the point I'm making is the body will take care of it.
So how does the body take care of it? I love that you say that. How does the body, let's say you have a polyp, how does the body take care of it?
The body will neutralize any errors. That's the way it's designed. So if you're unhealthy, then that error may keep going, and then you have a problem. So what I'm essentially saying, Noah, is you wait for symptoms. You don't go get checked out with no symptoms. It doesn't make sense. You don't bring your car to the mechanic unless you have a problem or you're due for a maintenance. Like, you got to get oil change, obviously. But, a tire alignment. But, you wouldn't pull up to the mechanic and be like, check the whole thing. like you just wouldn't. It's or your house. Maybe the house is an even better example. It's just the body is a living organism, and it knows what it's doing. It's the way God designed it.
So if it ain't broken, don't try to fix it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, especially if you're doing the right things. You sound like you work really hard on being healthy. I work very hard on being healthy as well. It means something. It means something. It means that your body appreciates that.
Yeah, I always said God gives us a one-time gift, right? He gives us health and well-being and beauty, whatever he gives us, right? It's a one-time gift, and if we don't take care of it, he doesn't give it to us again. So we have to take care of that gift. And I was always very present to take care of the gift God's gave me and appreciate
Yes.
that and continue to nurture that.
Yes, and the way I look at it is, most religious cultures refer to God as the Father. Abba, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how would you want to make your dad proud? By being successful. And certainly, health is one of those ways. So, how can people expect to be rewarded and favored by the Father if they're mistreating themselves and or others? It's not possible.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So many people, though, especially I see a lot of men. I don't want to, sound, but they have these big guts, right? They have these like, women who take really good care of themselves, but the men, a lot of them don't take care of themselves. They're business people, whatever it is. They're busy and they totally neglect their bodies, and I see that a lot. Maybe because I'm a woman, I notice that a lot more. And I just feel like it's an obligation, just like the woman needs to look good for you, her best, and you want to have a woman that looks good by your side. Why are you not taking care of yourself?
Right. Absolutely. And that gut you speak of is probably full of gluten, by the way.
Yeah, and gluten does blow up your gut, right? Because I noticed when I eat bread, and it didn't happen to me when I was younger, but now if I eat bread, my stomach does get like a little bloated.
Right. Yeah. I mean, gluten does that for sure.
And what do you say about sugar?
Well, sugar isn't actually a problem. It's the minerals, you're missing minerals that process the sugar. So, you need minerals such as chromium, vanadium, zinc that helps process the sugar. It helps use the insulin correctly. So if you're putting too much sugar in your body and you're not processing it correctly, it's essentially creating a perfect storm, and it's going to hurt you at some point. So if you're not processing the sugar, then it's going to float around in your blood and it's going to cause inflammation to anything it touches. So it's best for a human being to keep their sugar lower, 200 grams a day type thing. If you're diabetic, obviously you want to bring that down even more. But the best thing to do is to top yourself off on the nutrients so that you can handle it.
Do multivitamins have all the nutrients you're talking about?
No, definitely not. Unfortunately not. No, you're better off with powders and liquids and such.
Amazing. How about fried foods? I know we didn't get into that, but the fried foods you talk about as well. I try to stay away from fried foods, but I know, you go to a restaurant and you see people eating tons, all the appetizers, everything is fried.
Yep.
Why are we, again, it's the oils, right? We're talking about with fried foods.
Yeah. You're taking the oils and you're turning it up 10 notches. It's carcinogenic. And it makes the medical monopoly a lot of money.
Yeah, and it affects your health and well-being, and also ages you more, right? As you eat more of that kind of fried foods.
Sure. And like I talk about in the Red Book, the food corporations are in cahoots with the medical system. So they're making each other money,
Yeah, it makes total sense. I feel like they must be giving people like, okay, if you put hydrogenated oil into something, we'll give you some extra money or push your product more forward. Because some of the things that I go into a supermarket and I look at the shelf, I'm like, how do they even let us have these dyes and these, hydrogenated stuff and all these things in the foods that they're putting? It's literally poison, and it's allowed to be put into our food. And all those boxed and fake food that you talk about, it's everywhere. The whole supermarket is full of fake food.
So aren't hospitals.
Yeah,
Go figure.
absolutely. Okay, so this has been an amazing conversation. Is there anything else before I ask you like how people can connect with you and find you, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we go into that section?
Yeah, I would just say to read the Red Book, Medical Monopoly, and this will start you on your journey, and you can take that wherever you need to take it, and just go to drkevinreese.com and look at our testimonies, look at our educational library, and yeah, wherever you want to go, you can take it. I don't, I let people take their own journey. I'm here when they make it to the other side and they're ready to actually do something. But I'm not here to convince anyone to change.
Yeah, no, that's great. I definitely, like I said, I will get the book. How about, so would you say your approach is more of a holistic approach?
Yeah, holistic is the technical word. I just changed it to head to toe healing because I felt so many people don't understand holistic. It's scary. You say, oh, it's holistic, and somebody goes, oh, no, not that. But head to toe, nobody uses that term, so I coined it. And because I literally help people from head to toe, and nobody else does. So I just coined it, and we're going with it, and we're going to teach people how to be head to toe healers as time goes.
And you work with a whole team, right? That helps you obviously get these programs and these things out. Are any of your programs in person or everything is virtual?
Everything is virtual. And before somebody gets into our virtual learning membership, they have to get a head to toe analysis, which evaluates their entire body from head to toe. So, and then that costs some money. So it's like, we need people to prove that they're serious. We're not interested in taking in just anybody.
What?
I would rather have 1,000 people that are so serious than 10,000 people that aren't.
So what can people expect when they take your head to toe program?
Well, the analysis is you get down to your draws basically, because I need to see your knees, your ankles, I need to see your spine, I need to see your ears, your shoulders, I need to see everything. And then I can evaluate it and figure out what the root causes are to your symptoms. And then from there, that gives you a roadmap. And then if you enter the learning membership, then you know exactly what courses to take to fix your problems. And we have live classes. So there's a meeting every day. We're live every day, Monday to Sunday.
Wow. And is there any blood work that's included in this program?
We have a blood lab that people can order. It's not through us. We just recommend where to go. But you really don't need it. At least not in the beginning, you don't. Because the head to toe analysis is more thorough than a blood test.
That's incredible. You could just visually see what's going on with a person. You don't have to necessarily see their blood work to see that the things are off.
Right. Yeah. Blood lab isn't going to tell me anything about your spine. It's not going to tell me anything about the position of your head. It's not going to tell me anything about the bunions on your toes. It's not going to tell me any of that. And so this is another scam of the medical monopoly. They hold the blood labs hostage. You can't order it. You can't read it. Only we can.
You know, it's incredible that you could tell so much just from looking at a person structurally.
Absolutely. And then with a little questionnaire, we can find out their nutritional status and mindfulness status, and then I can connect the dots.
No, that's great. This is so important. Thank you so much for the incredible work you're doing here in the world, because I do believe that your work is making a difference for a lot of people. And of course, you have the testimonials to prove that. And make sure you check out his book, the Red Book, as he calls it, right? The Medical
Yeah.
Monopoly book.
Mhm.
He just launched it in December 11th or something.
Yeah. December 13th,
13th.
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The 13th. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah, December the 13th. Because my husband was born on the 13th. So when I heard Friday the 13th, I'm like, oh, I love that date, So that's awesome. Very
Yeah.
excited. So anything else you want to tell people where to find you, how to connect with you? I know you said a little bit, but tell them one more time.
Just drkevinreese.com, the hub of everything, drkevinreese.com.
Awesome. He's everywhere, so you won't miss him. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate your time. And this was a great conversation. A lot of people will take a lot away from this.